Hola, hola con todos, bienvenidos a un capítulo más de esta nueva temporada de Bestial Radio Show, el canal de los músicos más extremos, ustedes ya saben. Famoso o no famoso, aquí no importa, si la banda es salvaje, está en el programa. Así que, bienvenidos, estoy encantado de tenerles aquí, gracias por sus likes, gracias por suscribirse, hagamos que esta comunidad crezca. Y bueno, no tengamos más rodeos aquí. Este episodio me tiene muy contento, muy contento. Tenemos por primera vez a una dama en el programa. Me siento muy honrado de tener a esta dama en el programa. Una mujer que ha tocado música muy extrema, muy pesada en tiempos legendarios, en los 80s, 90s. Y es una de las pioneras en Estados Unidos del Doom Death Metal, pero del Doom Death Metal, el cañero, el duro, el pesado. Así que, sin más rodeos, presentamos a la señora Terri Lewis. Hello Terri, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Happy to have you here. I was telling the audience that I feel honored for having you here. You're the first lady ever to come to this show. And that's an honor for me. And well, I was telling the audience, you are one of the pioneers in the American scene regarding doom death metal from these legendary times, the 80s, the 90s, times when bands were getting brutal and all of that. So, there's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah.
First of all, how's everything going over there?
It's going really good. But I feel honored too, just for the fact that I've never done an interview like this ever. You know, I was looking in the past fanzines from back in the 80s, 90s, and going down memory lane for this. So it's kind of fun, you know. It's been a long time, but everything's good.
Great. Okay, first things first, I always ask my guests the year of birth because it's important to understand the time you grew up in. So, what is your year of birth?
Oh, I just had a birthday, so 1970.
1970, perfect.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Yeah. Pardon me?
Yeah, were you born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let me introduce you to the audience. Okay, aquí estábamos saludando. Bueno, Terri dice que es la primera vez que hace una entrevista hablada. Es una experiencia nueva para ella. Y bueno, muy contentos de tenerla aquí en el canal. Y claro, decía que para acordarse de algunas cosas estaba viendo algunos fanzines, algunas revistas, cosas antiguas para acordarse de datos, ¿no? Y como siempre vamos con las historias contadas desde el principio. Yo le preguntaba en qué año nació y en dónde. Entonces me contaba que nació en el año de 1970 en Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Aquí tenemos el mapa. Y ustedes ya conocen los mapas del canal. Entonces está la ubicación de Pennsylvania en Estados Unidos y la ubicación de Pittsburgh dentro del estado de Pennsylvania, al noreste de Estados Unidos, ¿no? Okay. So, Terri, can you recall any of your first memories ever related to music?
Oh, okay. So, growing up, I had older brothers and sister. And I would say the first, besides listening to the radio, a lot of, my siblings would go and get records, albums, We would always be listening to music. Back in the day, we had an 8-track. And we got, I'd say, almost every Kiss album on that, So Kiss, I went to Kiss concert like when I was in 3rd grade, so pretty young to be, going to concerts and stuff. And so I'd say from there, just, a lot of really heavy metal-ish, but more like heavy rock and roll at that time. Wasn't really super duper heavy yet, until I got in my teens, right? So I would say that would be the first, we had posters all on the wall, completely covering our bedroom of Kiss. It was great. Yeah.
You know what? It's very interesting because there have been several guests who talk about Kiss as their first influence. Kiss was a massive phenomenon, and it introduced many people to rock and roll. I think it's a very, very important band.
Yeah.
It's great.
Absolute big influence, yes. Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Entonces, ¿cómo fue que Terri empezó a fijarse en la música? Dice que los hermanos y la hermana de ella siempre andaban comprando cassettes de LPs, o sea, todo tipo de álbums que salían al mercado, que les gustaba mucho el rock and roll y que tenían un reproductor de 8 pistas, un 8-track en la casa, y que lo que más se acuerda ella es de la banda Kiss. Y sí, bueno, Kiss fue importante, y eso comentábamos, que ya son varios los invitados de este show que han dicho que su banda favorita de la niñez fue Kiss. Kiss fue una banda súper importante en la historia. Entonces eso es súper chévere porque es una banda que muchos tienen en común, que les fue a ver en vivo cuando estaba en 3er grado, más o menos unos 8 años de edad, y que eso fue súper impactante en la vida. Claro que todavía que siempre le gustó el rock and roll así medio fuerte, medio pesado, que todavía no escuchaba ese ultra pesado rock and roll o metal ni nada de eso, pero que ya le gustaba el rock cuando era niña, que tenía pósters en toda la casa y que era como una afición súper fuerte, ¿no? Okay, Terri, so that was your introduction to rock and roll in general. But I always ask my guests 2 things. First, the first connection with rock and roll, and second, the connection with ultra heavy music, because that's another level.
So, yeah. Well, okay, so started going to a couple parties, right? And then there's a club called the Electric Banana, and they hosted a bunch of, whether it was punk rock or, doom metal, because we had Dream Death that came from Pittsburgh. Doom Watch also came from Pittsburgh. And so they ended up being our friends at these parties, right? So you just go to support your friends' bands. And, it was amazing because there was always concerts, and people came into town, and different headliners, So, I went to as many, because you could go a couple times a week, or whatever, and watch all these concerts and stuff like that. And then that's kind of like, it also goes hand in hand with Ides Records and Comics. It was a really cool place. Like, soon as I would get paid, I'd go down, pick out all kinds of vinyl that was new, and recommended. And also Don from Nunslaughter, Don Crotsley from Nunslaughter was a friend of ours. And big help with getting us into all of the, like underground tape trading and, that kind of stuff. So, and that's kind of how, me and Sharon formed DERKÉTA at the beginning, because, just hanging out at the parties, and they're like, I want to play, and, whatever. So it ended up being pretty cool, and worked out really well that way. But, because I would say prior to the heavier stuff, you end up, there's a lot of hair metal bands, right? And I would go to those bigger concerts too. But then, like, once I would say, Metallica started coming out, and I loved Destruction and Creator and like all of those kinds of bands at that time, very underground. But you know, be listening to that versus the hair bands, you know, just kind of kept getting heavier and heavier.
Heavier and heavier. Yeah. Well, you mentioned something that caught my attention. You were present during the development of the thrash metal scene in the 80s. Yeah. So, what are your most vivid memories from that time?
Oh gosh, I would say, you know, just seeing Slayer. You know, I mean, I know that's a little bit heavier too, but like even there was, you know, E28 played here, and then going to like the Milwaukee Metal Fest and stuff, and that was a whole big conglomerate of all of the heavy metal bands, death metal bands, doom metal, you know, whatever, and some punk rock and stuff all together. So like the different festivals that would happen, that was fun. But as far as the thrash stuff, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just all kind of, I don't want to say blending in a big soup for me, but you know, I would go, there was another club here, City Limits, and they would also have like Overkill, you know, Guar and different bands like that, you know, that would come and play those shows. So yeah, it was definitely heavy metal and thrash kind of mixed all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, I guess, well, for many of us who are younger, it's like, I mean, talking about thrash metal in the 80s in the US or Europe is like talking about a magical fairy tale, like, oh yeah, the time when everything was blooming,
Yeah, I mean, think about like, you know, Testament was around, you know, and we'd go to those shows. I mean, like, yeah, everybody was just coming out of the woodwork. It was great. It was great.
All right.
Very original.
Excellent. All right. Bueno, aquí estamos en una parte súper interesante porque yo le contaba que siempre a mis invitados les digo, bueno, hay dos fases por las que hay que preguntar: cómo descubrieron la música pesada en general y después la música ultra pesada. Entonces, Terri dice que claro, por ahí empezó a ir a un par de fiestas con amigos, había un club de shows llamado el Electric Banana, a donde podías ir un par de veces por semana. Había bandas de punk, bandas de doom metal, que siempre era chévere ir a apoyar a los amigos. Y que además siempre había bandas que estaban llegando a la ciudad, bandas de afuera que se presentaban ahí. Y entonces era súper chévere. Además, ya estaba coleccionando grabaciones, cassettes, LPs, vinil, cómics. Y que la amistad que ella y su amiga Sharon tenían con la banda Slaughter fue lo que les llevó a este mundo del tape trading, el intercambio de cintas, que les hizo conocer mucha más música más underground, y al final terminaron formando la banda DERKÉTA, de la cual ya vamos a hablar. Y claro, dice, antes de eso, lo normal era que existan conciertos del hair metal o el glam metal, como algunos le conocen, hasta que empezaron a aparecer Metallica, Creator, Exodus, Testament y toda la escena thrash, que fue como un paso gigantesco en la evolución del metal. Y yo le digo, a ver, un momento, entonces cuéntame cómo es esto del thrash en los 80s, porque tú estuviste ahí, tú lo viste, tú viste cómo fue. Cuéntame cómo era estar ahí. Y dice, bueno, era increíble ver a todas estas bandas, Metallica, Creator, imagínense toda esa época, Slayer en la época del Raining Blood, y que después llegó el Milwaukee Metal Fest y otros festivales, o sea que en realidad fue como que todo se fue mezclando, todas las bandas de metal iban fusionando los gustos de la gente. Y también recuerda que, bueno, hablando de thrash, había otro club que se llamaba City Limits, en donde eran un poquito más especializados en thrash, que tocaban Overkill, Testament y otras bandas, pero que era una época súper bestial, increíble. Entonces esta invitada, nuestra Terri, fue muy afortunada al poder ver el auge del thrash metal en los Estados Unidos. Okay, and tell me, Terri, about you and drumming.
Okay.
How did you start drumming?
So, when Sharon and I decided to form DERKETA, I mean, we didn't even have a band name or anything like that. But there was a friend of ours, Jeff Cherup, and he was in a band, Dumach, and so they practiced at his place. And so he said, "Well, let's see, I can show you a couple things, and we'll see how it goes." So Sharon had a couple riffs. We went to the practice place. I sat down. He showed me how to do some things, and then I kind of mimicked what he did. And he said, "I think you can do this." So I said, "Okay." It took me a while to actually get a drum kit, And I remember when we did the first DERKETA rehearsal tape. It was a 4-track, And we went to another friend's, Don Crotzley's friend, Jerry Jameson, at the time. He had a drum set, and I'm assuming I borrowed his kit because I don't know how I would have played anything. Anyway, so I never took any lessons. I just would go to these shows at the Banana and sit behind the stage and watch the drummers play. So I kind of tried to be a little self-taught, and if anybody wanted to show me something, that's great. But I just kind of mimicked everybody, and then by ear, try to listen as much as possible. But and I wasn't good. Let's just make that clear. I was not good. And when we met Death, Bill Andrews heard the rehearsal tape. He taught me. He said, "Oh, I see what you're doing wrong." So he gave me as far as doing double time on the hi-hat, and just playing practically better, right? So he kind of showed me what to do. Okay, fine. So, and then I think once I got my kit, I felt a little bit more empowered, and then my feet were better than my hands because I never learned anything, as far as drum corps stuff, from school. I never played in a high school band. I didn't know any of that. So my hand, I didn't know how to do fills, very well. But my feet could go pretty good. So I just did a lot of double bass fills. I don't know what I was doing. I just kind of, I don't want to say I faked it, but I kind of did, I guess. And I was just whatever worked, that's what I felt, So.
Okay.
And then.
Can you tell me the name of the guy who told you that you were double hitting the hi-hat? This guy? Oh, Bill Andrews from Death. Ah, Billy Andrews.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He said, you're kind of doing and you need to use this hand twice fast, whatever, I'm trying to explain this properly, whatever. So he was telling me how to do it.
Okay, entonces aquí estamos hablando de cómo fue que empezó a tocar la batería. Entonces tenían un amigo llamado Jeff que estaba en una banda que se llevaba con la amiga de Terri, Sharon, y les invitó a Sharon a tocar la guitarra, a Terri a que vea qué le sale en la batería y ver qué pasaba, y como que les fue gustando esto de ensayar y les fue interesando tocar música. Y tenía un amigo llamado Jerry Jameson que les prestaba el kit de batería porque Terri no tenía. Terri no había tomado lecciones de batería jamás. Ella solo había aprendido viendo cómo tocaban otros bateristas, yendo a conciertos, escuchando música. Y entonces solamente iba imitando. Y tenían así como sus grabaciones de ensayo. Y un día conocieron a la banda Death, y Billy Andrews de la banda Death, compañero de banda de Chuck Schuldiner, le dijo: "Hey, estás tocando con ciertos errores del hi-hat, los platos". Entonces le fue corrigiendo y fue como persiguiendo: ya tengo que corregir esto, tengo que corregir el otro. Y así fue como que como fue puliendo su técnica poco a poco. Dice que tenía mejores pies que manos, que nunca fue muy buena para los remates, que podía seguir el beat, pero que en los remates no era de lo mejor. Entonces hacía un montón de remates usando doble bombo, combinando manos y pies para darle más dinámica, ¿no? Okay. So, which year could we say it was the foundation of DERKETA?
The year, or?
Yes, the year.
Okay, so 1989.
1989.
Yeah.
Okay, tell me about the beginning of DERKETA, because you cited the name of a male friend, but he wasn't there in the recordings, right?
No, yeah. So our friend Jeff Cherapy was the one who kind of helped us, helped me start playing drums, kind of helped us with the name. And then Don Crotsley from Nunslaughter was the one who was really kind of pushing us to do some things and helped us with, recording the rehearsal, and was going to fill in on bass for us, but I don't think we ever did practice with him. I mean, it was kind of like just kind of a thought, I guess, And so, yeah, we just put out the rehearsal tape, and because we had other friends, we kind of did a little bit of, they helped promote us a little bit, And because of that, we ended up doing another recording, a 4-song demo, The Unholy Ground. And that was at a actual in-home recording studio, and it, probably back then it was nothing more than 8 tracks. So we, a little bit better, a little bit more help with recording and stuff on getting that out. And then again, tape trading, and then the fanzines and stuff would, just because of all these little pieces of paper that you would have an ad for your demo, and it would circulate, and then you would get people contacting you for it or wanting to interview you for a fanzine, and that's just how it really kind of went down, Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So okay, what when you recorded the first 2 demos, the rehearsal tape and the Unholy Ground demo tape, what was your musical mood? I mean, what feeling did you have towards music? How was your mood to create such a brutal thing, regardless of whatever else was happening outside?
Yeah, it's a good question. So we really, really loved Candlemass, and we really loved Paradise Lost. And, some other, like Dream Death was from Pittsburgh. That was an influence, obviously.
Which band?
So, Dream Death.
Dream Death. Okay.
Yeah. I really can't tell you. I just know that Sharon always wanted to play slow. And then when, we discovered she could actually sing the way she did, which blew everybody's mind, then, it was just kind of like an anomaly. And I guess because of that, we didn't want to, obviously I couldn't play fast because I could barely play anyway. So playing slow is easier, right? I think. Keeping it simple, and it was really simple back then because I didn't know much. And so as far as just, I would say, like, if you're thinking about the mood, I mean, there were times where it was like winter time and it was cold in Pittsburgh. And so it was really, yeah, it kind of helped with that whole thing. Yeah, I don't know. We were just doing our thing, just kind of worked. Like me and Sharon always clicked in a weird way, even though our timing is not perfect timing, compared to everybody else's. But I just would follow, and we would just be on time together. So it just worked, And
right.
I don't know. We just really liked the heavy sound, like tuning down, and we always wanted that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Can you recall any of of the reactions by people from outside the metal environment, maybe your family or friends, how they reacted when they found out you were playing guttural, brutal music.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess we were just kind of testing the waters a little bit with the rehearsal tape to just see, like, all right, how are people going to take this? Are they going to think we're like full of shit or like, whatever? But we were pretty authentic, we really didn't care about opinions in a way. I mean, obviously we didn't want to, can't take too much criticism that would hurt our ego, you know what I mean? But when people would hear it, they always thought that there was some kind of a vocal effect for Sharon. They liked the music, and then they couldn't believe that it was girls, I guess, So I guess that kind of helped us back then, because like Lori Bravo was singing for Nuclear Death, I believe, and so there wasn't too many females in the scene, and so I think people really, they probably, I think they dug it, and I didn't really hear too much as far as sexist comments or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because we weren't really about that. Hanging out with, we're just doing our thing. Yeah, we just wanted to put out better music. We always wanted to improve. I always wanted to try to at least improve better.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So yeah. You were very focused. That's nice, because many people when they are young, many people become afraid of being who they are just because of people's opinions and things like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Ok. Entonces, en esta parte estamos hablando de cómo fueron los inicios de la banda DERKÉTA. Y lo que cuenta Terry es que tenían este amigo Jeff que les ayudaba a tener más facilidad para practicar, también la gente de Manslaughter y muchos amigos que les ayudaron a promocionar sus demos que aquí tenemos en pantalla. Está el official rehearsal demo del 9 de mayo del 89, que ese es, claro, es un demo de ensayos, ¿no? Rehearsal es de ensayo. Y como les fue bien, mandando a fanzines, mandando así a revistas, radios, todo, había gente que les contactaba, que tenía interés, y entonces se animaron a hacer el otro demo llamado The Unholy Ground, que ya no es un demo de ensayo, sino que es una sesión de grabación. Claro, estilo demo, pero muy bien hecha, excelente. Es una banda de Doom Death Metal, una banda pionera del Doom Death Metal en Estados Unidos, hecho solamente por mujeres. Todas las integrantes de la banda eran mujeres. Y eso es muy importante porque estaban muy decididas a hacerlo. Y le preguntaba a Terry, ¿cómo fue que cómo era el ánimo que tenían para hacer esa música? ¿En qué onda estaban para que toquen música ultra pesada, gutural, así atmosférica y todo tan salvaje, ¿no? Y dice, bueno, lo primero era que les gustaba la banda Candlemass, Paradise Lost, Dream Death, y que a Sharon siempre le gustaba tocar despacio, y que eso a Terry le venía muy bien porque ella no era tan buena en la batería, entonces tocar despacio siempre acompañaba bien. Y claro, por casualidad descubrieron que Sharon podía hacer voces guturales de death metal, lo cual lo consideraron una anomalía, pero fue genial porque se animaron a hacer este tipo de música. Y claro, también hablando del ánimo, nos decía que toda esta onda del invierno al noreste de Estados Unidos, la nieve, el frío, como que les daba ese aire un poco lúgubre para para hacer ese tipo de música. Y entonces yo le decía, bueno, ¿y cómo fue la reacción de la gente que no estaba en el metal el rato que escucharon esos cassettes o que les vieron tocar y que se empezaron a dar cuenta de que era una banda ultra bestia, ¿no? Y dice, claro, había gente que no creía lo que oía, pensaban que había algún tipo de efecto especial en las voces de Sharon, pero la verdad es que era la voz natural de ella, gritando al estilo death metal. Y que bueno, en cuestión del ambiente musical era como que estaban probando el agua, dice, tocando las aguas para ver cómo les iba, para ver qué tal les iba, ¿no? Y entonces no había mucha referencia acerca de chicas tocando death metal, más allá de Lori Bravo, de la banda Nuclear Death, y que, bueno, simplemente se dedicaron a hacer lo suyo. Nunca dieron mayor importancia a otros comentarios, y tampoco es que haya habido mucho sexismo ni ese tipo de cosas. Simplemente tocaban y eran una banda más del entorno, pero era una banda bestial. Okay, Terri, that's an excellent piece of memories.
Yeah.
Thank you for that amazing start. I mean, yeah. And well, for the young people who were not living those times, how exciting was it for you to be in touch with people through post mail, doing some tape trading, fanzines, waiting for the mail to come and all of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So at one point, I used to get like 10 letters a day, and it was from all over the world. We'd have, Chile and Indonesia and freaking obviously England, France, and blah, blah, blah. So Japan and stuff. And so I thought it was amazing. My parents were like, what? It's crazy. So I will say there's something about reading a letter that's very broken English, but you knew, right? And everybody was so excited back then to either get a response, or I got a response back from sending some interview thing in or whatever. And then you get the magazine, and it was just really, people put a lot of effort into everything they did, and they took pride in it all, and they really tried their best to promote the bands and promote the scene, and globally, so it wasn't just, for their own gain. But I will say there is that slower pace of stuff made you appreciate things, I think, better than today is such an instantaneous, at a touch of a finger, you can pull up videos from all the way back then too, and listen to music and stuff that people have posted online. But it doesn't, the tangible stuff of actually holding something in your hand and reading it, or looking at the demo tapes, and somebody hand dubbed those demo tapes. We would have a dual cassette, and I had to keep dubbing and then send them out and whatever. I mean, yeah. So there was a lot of pride, I think. Of course, we were young. We didn't have anything else to do, and it was fun. But it made you really, I think, really feel a part of it, and very much appreciative of everything that was going on back then. You didn't take things for granted, really. And yeah.
Okay.
So it would amaze me. Yeah.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that sounds lovely. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Ok, entonces, ¿de qué hablábamos aquí? Algo bastante curioso, que yo le decía, ok, tú viviste todo este auge del metal extremo con comunicación por cartas, correo postal, ¿qué se sentía estar conectado de esa forma? Porque no había internet. O sea, para la gente joven de ahora que todo tiene instantáneo, que le pedía que describa cómo era esto de comunicarse con la gente, esperar recibir algo, sostener algo con la mano. Y dice, bueno, era algo súper especial. Llegó un momento en el que recibía 10 cartas al día del correo. Y que los papás decían, hey, o sea, ¿qué está pasando? ¿En qué andas metida? Y claro, dice, era una cosa global, era de todo el mundo. De países lejanos como Chile, Indonesia y por supuesto el Atlántico Norte, ¿no? Como Norteamérica, Europa, Japón. Y claro, muchas veces era fácil entender el inglés, muchas veces era un inglés un poco, como dice, roto, que no era tan fácil de entender, pero era súper chévere, porque al final terminabas comprendiendo el entusiasmo de la gente. Todo el mundo estaba entusiasmado, todo el mundo estaba emocionado, y se notaba que hacían mucho esfuerzo por comunicarse con la gente, y que todo el mundo daba lo mejor de sí. O sea, se sentía una como conexión especial, porque la gente daba lo mejor de sí. Y claro, ese ritmo lento de comunicación que no era tan instantáneo hacía que aprecies las cosas más, que las cosas tengan más valor, porque claro, ahora con solo hacer clic ya tienes todo automáticamente, pero el hecho de esperar, recibir algo, sostener algo con tus manos, saber que eso estuvo en las manos de la persona que te estaba mandando, de una persona que aprecias, eso era un feeling súper especial. Y claro, había mucho esto de compartir cintas grabadas, y que todo el tiempo estaba grabando cassettes. Y dice, claro, éramos jóvenes y teníamos bastante tiempo. También eso tenía mucho que ver. Pero era súper chévere porque te sentías parte de algo. Sentías que pertenecías a algo que estaba ocurriendo mundialmente. Y lo apreciabas porque no dabas nada por sentado. No te confiabas, no es que... se fue el email. Ya publiqué. Ya el YouTube ahí está. No. Nada era seguro. Tenías que asegurarte de que la carta le vaya a llegar, que el paquete le llegue, que el cassette le llegue a la otra persona, que el cassette esté bien grabado. Ese tipo de cosas que ahora ya no ocurren, salvo en contados casos, hacían que toda esta interacción sea muy especial, ¿no? Y bueno, es algo súper chévere lo que ella recuerda. Alright. So, Terri, going forward with the with history of DERKETA, you have your first EP in 1991. Okay.
Yeah.
I think the name is Premature Burial, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you recall about it?
Well, so there was, we got approached by Seraphic Decay Records, and they were the ones who, put it out, and on different colored vinyl, splatter vinyl and like purple and whatever. It was fun. But, and I think at that time also, there might have been like Incantation, Mortician, but I'm getting a little confused too, because I think when MYTHIC came out, those 7 inches were also released on Relapse Records, and MYTHIC did that also. But Seraphic Decay, maybe Nunslaughter made one with them too. I'm not sure everybody back in the day, like who did them. But so we just re-recorded probably the 2 songs from the first rehearsal tape, I think. Can't remember. For that, just, so to make it sound a little bit better. So it was a little slower, I think, than either the demo or the rehearsal tape. I can't remember what came from, but yeah. So, yeah, it was something exciting, I guess. But I think in the long run, we kind of got screwed somehow.
But, screwed? Why?
Yeah. I don't know the deal we made and whatever happened, and maybe, that how they say like, oh, we're only going to make so many copies, and then they made way more. I don't know. I really don't know though.
Okay, but are you talking
but really, who cares? We didn't pay for it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. So.
Are you talking about Seraphic Decay or Relapse?
Yeah. No, Seraphic Decay.
Seraphic Decay.
Yeah.
Okay, but you say that eventually you got this EP re-released, repressed by Relapse.
Relapse Records did the Mythic one.
Ah, yeah. We are gonna talk about it later on.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's the jewel on your crown. Yeah. Well, that's a very important moment in your lifetime. So we are gonna talk about it later on. All right.
Okay. All right.
Okay. En esta parte estamos refiriéndonos a cómo fue la evolución de la banda MYTHIC, DERKETA, y su primer EP, el disco Premature Burial, el 7 pulgadas de 1991, Premature Burial, lanzado por Seraphic Decay Records. Y te doy cuenta que aquí Seraphic Decay les ofreció un trato en el que iban a sacar diferentes presentaciones de vinil de un color, de otro, o el estilo splatter, que es como salpicado de colores, de este tipo de cosas. Y entonces, bueno, aceptaron. Y recuerda que más o menos por ese tiempo ya iban sacando sus primeras grabaciones de Incantation, Mortician. Y claro, las bandas iban creciendo. Y para este disco, Premature Burial, grabaron 2 canciones del demo de ensayo, pero tocadas bastante lento, ¿no? Dice que no recuerda bien, pero que es probable que el trato que consiguieron con el sello Seraphic Decay no haya sido el mejor. Que tal vez tiene la impresión de que les dijeron que iban a sacar una cantidad de discos y después sacaron más. Pero dice, bueno, ahorita ya no importa, al final nunca les costó a ellos. Así que sí, las cosas se dieron, se publicó y salió bien. Ok, by that time, DERKETA was growing and growing, but there were no big releases of the band after that one, except for a couple of splits that were made years and years after that. So what happened with DERKETA?
Okay, so there's a lot of debate about this. Being young and your friends, but then your friends, you start butting heads a little bit. I don't know. There was conversations about, okay, we have a lineup, we have a bass player, we got Mary, and the one other guitarist did not work out at all. She just was kind of like, I don't want to say a fake person in a way, but she never practiced and it didn't work out with us. So at one point in time, I was like, okay, well, we have a full lineup, we can play out. And Sharon said no, because she couldn't play and sing at the same time. So then I was just like, oh, well, what am I doing? Because now I'm to the point where I really want to play. I want to play shows. So, and she was married at the time, newly, and just like all that kind of stuff interferes. You get a lot of distractions and stuff. But so in the meantime, since we were not getting along well, it was one of those things where I was like, all right, I'm going to go form another band. And then in her mind, she was going to try and replace me anyway. So we just kind of split up. But yeah, I formed MYTHIC from that, because that's why she put out some other things on her own, you know, and some recordings and stuff. And then she played in another band for a little while too, played bass in another band. Yeah, so she had her stuff going on, and I, you know, yeah. So that's why no big release until like years later, you know.
Years later.
That was very many years later. I think 20 years later or something, we finally released the full length album.
So
yeah.
it was like kind of an imminent end, like, oh, there comes the end, so I better jump earlier. I'm off from here. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but DERKETA has a couple of releases as the splits. I think it's the split with Slaughter in 1999 and a four-way split in 2002. Were those recordings made with you were those sessions made with you and then taken many years later to do these releases, or maybe you didn't participate in them?
No, I didn't. Yeah, no, I didn't participate in any of that. Yeah.
And just to summarize your story with DERKETA, because we have a lot of things to talk about. Yeah. Did you participate in the final album from 2012? I think the name is In Dead We Meet.
Yeah. So we
there.
we reformed because Sharon was always approached about doing a full length, and she didn't want to do a full length without me. And then finally we became friends again, you know, and started hanging. So at first she kept, you know, hey, I want to do this. And I was like, no. You know, we have our friendship again. This is good. I don't want to like fuck it up. And, yeah, there was a lot of different things that came up about us getting back together to do that. So, I don't know. I mean, I was like, well, if we can find a drum set, all right, I'll try. I don't know what I'm going to play like, you know, it's been so long. So, and then, you know, there was enough songs there to work on. So, yeah, we just pulled it together. Mary, you know, said, okay, fine. I'll play. She ended up playing the other guitar instead of bass. And Robin, who we've been friends with forever and a day, you know, she ended up playing bass on it. So, yeah.
Okay. And
yeah.
How was the feeling of playing those brutal songs with the same people many years later?
Yeah.
I mean,
very very natural. You know, I mean, I mean, it's great to have your friends again. You know, you're with your buds, and then having it really. I'll tell you one thing that happened. Okay, so Sharon has a big house, and she has a practice studio above a garage by her house, and you know, disattached to her house. So anyway, finally got the drum set together. She plugged in, started playing. We started rehearsing the old songs, right? And when she plugged the microphone in and actually sang and played for the first time, I almost shit myself. I was so excited. I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, wow, it's finally real. Like, it's finally real. And I was so excited. And so, yeah, then I was like, well, this will be really cool. So, that was really, really fun for me, you know? And I mean, obviously, I mean, I always thought the tuning that we had and, you know, just the songs, and I would say Mary added a lot of nuance to the guitars, recording and stuff, because, you know, I know nothing about guitar work, but she just would nuance things and enhance things with octaves and stuff that, you know, were very complimentary and whatever. So it really made it better. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Did you ever play live at that time?
So then we ended up playing the Buffalo Metal Fest. So it was kind of like it was kind of a reunion in a way from the one that happened like, gosh, back in 1990 or something like that, you know. Autopsy played that at that time. So this time it ended up being Cam Lee with Massacre headlining.
All right.
And so it was a big. So there was also a book. I don't even know if I have it over there. So a friend of ours, you know, said, well, I'm going to do this, you know, Buffalo Fest, and I'm putting out this underground, you know, magazine all about everything from back then, and you guys are in it and whatever, and you have to play the show. So I was like, oh, we got to play a show. We got to play a show. So it just started to kind of come together that way, I guess, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to more say about that. You know, it was just really cool. We did play, so we played that show. We played some other Pittsburgh shows with Nunslaughter, yeah. And, you know, maybe, I don't know, maybe I did 4 or 5, I think. And then that was it. Yeah, then I had to be done.
All right. Yeah. So you had fun, and that was it. No need to screw it up or something like that.
Yeah. It was like the album came out, everything was done. I did my job. I really kind of dedicated myself. I was like, all right, I'm committed to this, to get this thing done and put it out. And so, you know, that was, you know, because it's just so. I mean, I really like to practice, and I liked doing all the recordings and everything. But you know, when you're doing so much of that, everything else in life, you know, is kind of on the back burner in a little bit. And so you take your focus off of one thing, you know, other stuff starts to kind of, you know, so I had a lot going on, and I had a lot to really kind of maintain in my life and financially, you know, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Bueno, esta parte está bastante curiosa, porque cuenta el desenlace de la banda DERKÉTA. Es una banda que no duró mucho tiempo, tocaron muy poco tiempo en realidad. ¿Y qué fue lo que ocurrió? Que sacan el disco del que hablábamos, Premature Burial, y que ya Terri estaba muy entusiasmada porque quería ya lanzarse a tocar en vivo, hacer que la banda crezca. Y de repente la guitarrista, vocalista Sharon les dice, un momento, no es tan fácil porque yo no puedo cantar y tocar a la vez. Y le dicen, ¿cómo? Pero anímate. Pero no, que la cosa no funcionaba. Y yo le digo, bueno, y al final, ¿cuál fue el desenlace de DERKÉTA? Y dice, bueno, es un tema de debate, porque había una nueva guitarrista que simplemente no encajó. Dice, no le voy a criticar ni a decir nada, simplemente no encajó. Pero bueno, de todas maneras ya teníamos una buena alineación, pero Sharon no estaba comprometida como para cantar y tocar a la vez. Ya, además Sharon se estaba casando en ese tiempo, estaba recién casada. Ya, que bueno, se quiera o no se quiera, ya es una forma de distracción. Y las cosas no iban bien. Y Terri dijo, o sea, ya vio que no iba bien y se salió. Porque se daba cuenta que después de todo Sharon le iba a decir que se vaya. Entonces dice, mejor me voy de aquí rápido, me voy. Mejor formo una nueva banda. Y esa es la banda MYTHIC, de la que ya vamos a hablar. Y claro, para ese tiempo Sharon también ya había empezado a tocar en otra banda y todo. Le digo, ¿qué pasó después? Porque hubo un par de grabaciones, una de un split con Nunslaughter en el 99, que es la que tienen en la pantalla, y un 4-way, un disco de 4 bandas que salió en el 2002. Le digo, ¿participaste en eso? Y dice, no, en esas no participé. O sea, eso se hizo sin Terri, porque ella ya se salió de la banda después de Premature Burial. Y entonces le digo, ok, ¿y participaste o no en el disco del 2012 cuando se reunió DERKETA y sacaron un larga duración, un full length, que es este que tenemos en pantalla, In Dead We Meet, que es un disco sensacional y por fin fue un disco completo que le hacía justicia a la historia de la banda. Entonces le digo, ¿cómo fue todo eso? Y en primer lugar, Sharon fue la que se acercó, porque quería hacer una reunión, pero no le latía a Sharon hacer una reunión sin Terri. Entonces que Sharon insistía, anímate, y que Terri no se animaba tanto porque la verdad ya eran amigas de nuevo, pero ella no quería que todo se dañe. Hasta que un rato dijo, bueno, ya intentemos. Y en la banda ya habían hecho suficientes canciones como para un disco completo. Estaba su amiga Robin en el bajo. Y claro, todo fue muy natural. Ya eran amigas de nuevo, se llevaban muy bien. Le digo, bueno, ¿cómo fue la experiencia en lo musical? Dice, Sharon tiene una casa bastante grande, con un estudio grande para ensayar. Y dice, bueno, les voy a compartir una experiencia personal que me ocurrió ahí. Estábamos en la casa de Sharon. A ver, veamos si tenemos la foto. Aquí está la foto de la reunión del 2012. Sharon está abajo a la izquierda, Terri está arriba a la izquierda. Entonces dice que Sharon estaba ahí instalando todo. Terri instaló el kit de batería. Y entonces empezaron a tocar. Y el rato que, bueno, la expresión figurada de Terri es que cuando todo empezó a sonar junto, es como que, dice Terri, es como que casi me hice en los calzones, así como que, wow, dicho de forma figurada, ¿no? Entonces fue como que todo cobraba vida de nuevo, todo estaba ahí, todo era orgánico, todo estaba como encajando, ¿no? Y claro, la guitarrista Mary también tenía nuevas canciones y que era muy habilidosa para mejorar todo el sonido, para hacer que todo encaje, para trabajar con el sonido de las octavas. Todo era mejor. Y que bueno, en ese entonces llegaron a tocar en el Buffalo Metal Fest con la banda Massacre de Florida, no la colombiana, sino la de Florida, con Massacre como cabeza de cartel, y que hicieron algunos shows, otros shows, porque tenían amigos que les decían tienen que tocar acá. Tocaron en Pittsburgh con Nan Slaughter, siempre han sido muy buenas amigas de Nan Slaughter, que al final dieron unos 4 o 5 shows. Y Terri ya decidió continuar con su vida normal, porque le gusta mucho esto de practicar, estar grabando, estar componiendo, pero también resulta ser una distracción cuando tienes otras prioridades en lo financiero, prioridades en lo personal, y que ya ahí fue cuando dijo, ok, ya nos reunimos con DERKETA, hicimos las cosas bien con la banda, fue un final bonito. Pero hasta ahí nomás, señores, la vida tiene que continuar. Y esa fue la historia de DERKETA. Y ahora vamos a hablar de la banda más importante de Terri. La banda también de Doom Death Metal, que en mi opinión está incluso un paso más allá en lo musical. Y es la banda MYTHIC. ¿Ok? Terri. Now we are getting to the point of your most important band in your career, MYTHIC, a mythic band.
Okay.
So how can you sum up the beginnings of the band?
Well, okay. So first, because I'm just remembering about everything now too. The Glorious Times was the book that came out, and that's why DERKETA ended up playing that festival in Buffalo. After, well, actually, did we record the album already? I don't think we had the album recorded yet in 2011. But anyway, and that was Brian Pattison who kind of put all that stuff together. And actually, he ended up passing away because of COVID. So, yeah, huge, loss, because he really promoted a lot of bands and he helped everything back then, and it was pretty incredible. So I just wanted to say that. But as far as how MYTHIC became, Dana Duffy sent me a letter, and said she was going to be moving possibly down, to Pittsburgh. Her sister was going to go to the Art Institute. And so they were kind of testing things out, and she wanted to come and jam with us and maybe be the other guitarist, right? So she sent me kind of like her own demo tape in a way, like a little rehearsal of herself. And I thought at that time I was kind of done, and I was like, well, I'm going to form this other band if you want to meet up and see how it goes, and whatever. So that's how we formed MYTHIC, and it worked out pretty good. Her sister, helped us a lot with like some photography, I think, and Dana's boyfriend at the time, he really helped us a little bit with like probably some T-shirt designs and that kind of stuff. They came up with a lot of that. But we practiced at Dana's. She rented a house, and so we practiced in the basement of the house, and so there's a lot of really fast efforting also to get that up and running, and start recording, practicing songs and record as fast as possible, because Dana wrote pretty quick, and I still had some lyrics and stuff that she could use, I'll call them poems. They weren't to music yet. I'm not a musician. Didn't know how to do any of that. I just was like, here's some words you can put to songs, maybe, and so that's how that worked out.
All right. So at the beginning, it was just the two of you. At
the beginning, it was me, Mary, and Dana. We were always the three-piece.
Always the three-piece.
Always the three-piece. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you incorporate Mary in the band?
Well, me and Mary was going to play with DERKETA, but because then Sharon said she wasn't ever going to play live, I thought, well, I want to play live shows. That's why we decided to form MYTHIC. And when Dana contacted me, I was like, well, here we go. We got a guitarist, and then Dana's like, all right, I'll try and sing, and then she could sing just as brutal. So it ended up, that's just how it worked. It just was just like that, luck, synergy and whatever, so yeah.
Well, some people say that luck is the result of preparation together with good timing. Yeah. So you had the two elements.
Yeah. Right.
All right.
And I'm trying to remember if the practice place, I think that maybe originally was our one friend's. She rented that house, and I think Dana took it over, so she was able to do. I think that's how it worked out. But anyway, yeah. I mean, it was everybody was very very excited. It went really fast. Yeah.
Okay, excited and really fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And tell me about the first couple of demos. Coincidentally, you have two demos in the same year, just the same as with DERKETA.
Yeah.
Rehearsal tape and official demo tape.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the rehearsal tapes were just to start promoting the bands at the time, and then once you got maybe a little foot in, and then wrote some more songs, and you were like, okay, at least we have four songs on a demo, or we did the live 6-song demo, at a club when it was closed, because we knew the sound guy, and we basically recorded it like a live show because it was the cheapest and the easiest. We didn't have money for a studio, so we just went right through the soundboard, and he put some effects a little bit, on my drums, and then we ended up taking that and having that professionally, like, edited, I guess, enhanced or whatever, and then had them actually record them or like dub them on better tapes, so that was the sound quality was a little bit better back then. Yeah, so that's how we did that, and that was an all day. We had a certain time limit because the club was going to open at night, so we had to go and do it but it worked out really great, and that's how we recorded. Actually, it's how the DERKETA album was recorded, was live in a basement, mic'd up, playing together, and then they could record their tracks separate and and erase the one that was there, maybe if they wanted to do something different or play better or whatever. But that's how I recorded my drums. Yeah.
All right. And I have a question. Did the owners of that place know that you were recording with the sound guy?
I have no idea. I'm gonna say probably. I mean, the sound guy had the keys to the place, and I'm sure the owners back then. I mean, they, So I know we had to pay something, but we didn't have to pay for like a recording studio, So yeah, that was good. Yeah, and then when Relapse contacted us about putting out a 7-inch, and was paying for that, we actually went to a recording studio in West Virginia. And that particular guy, Dana knew, I think, through at some like the Art Institute or something like that, like her sister went to, and so yeah, they knew each other from school or whatever, and that worked out good. Yeah.
Sure. Well.
Yeah.
That will be part of the next question.
Okay.
Right. Excellent. All right. Ok, entonces, ¿cómo se desempeñó toda esta historia de la banda MYTHIC? Y bueno, Terry me aclara y dice, bueno, la banda adquirió mucho reconocimiento y se le considera parte de los tiempos gloriosos del metal y todo, gracias a un libro editado por su amigo Brian Pattison, que descansa en paz, que lastimosamente falleció durante la época del COVID. Y él promovió mucho el nombre de MYTHIC para que la gente las conozca ya en tiempos más modernos, ¿no? Y bueno, regresando a la historia de la formación de la banda, se puede decir que ya había contacto por carta con una amiga llamada Dana. A ver, aquí tenemos la imagen de la banda MYTHIC. Dana es la chica que está en la mitad. Y para ese entonces se estaba mudando a Pittsburgh junto con su hermana. Entonces le preguntó a Terry si tal vez le interesaba tener otra guitarrista en DERKETA. Y claro, las cosas en DERKETA no estaban yendo tan bien. Así que mejor formaron una nueva banda. La hermana de Dana les ayudaba con las fotografías. El enamorado de Dana les ayudaba con camisetas, o sea, con todo lo que tenía que ver con camisetas, y practicaban en el sótano de Dana. Terry tenía algunas letras que les consideraba más un poema que letras de canciones. No se consideraba muy habilidosa en la música, así que le dijo a Dana: mira, tengo estas palabras, mira cómo hacer que encajen. Entonces ahí fueron poniendo algunas de sus letras en las canciones, y le preguntaba sobre Mary Billich, que es la chica bajista vocalista. Mary Billich está a la izquierda, bajo voces, Dana en la guitarra y Terry en la batería. eran las 3. Y entonces le digo, ¿cómo fue que se unió Mary? Y dice, en realidad era otra candidata para unirse a DERKETA, pero ya como la situación no estaba tan bien y ya tenía 2 amigas interesadas en tocar música, dije, ¿por qué no hacer una nueva banda con ellas? Y se formó la banda MYTHIC, que sí fue una banda mítica y que todo era emocionante porque sucedió muy rápido, de forma muy orgánica, muy natural, muy así como ¡plá! Yo le decía, ¿sabes qué? Que la suerte, dice, era como un golpe de suerte. Y yo digo, bueno, la suerte a veces es el estar preparado y tener buena sincronía sincronización con las otras personas. Dice, sí, eso fue lo que pasó. Entonces, ya que estábamos hablando de los inicios de MYTHIC, le digo, cuéntame sobre los demos, porque coincidencialmente los inicios de MYTHIC se parecían mucho a los de DERKETA, solamente que con 2 años de diferencia. Tenían el rehearsal tape, el demo de ensayo del 91, que ustedes ven a la izquierda, y también el demo oficial de Immortal Realm a la derecha. Ese demo suena súper chévere para la época. Entonces, ¿cómo fue eso? Dice, en realidad, claro, ese era el mecanismo que había por entonces. Se grababa un ensayo para darte a conocer, para que la gente te reconozca un poco. Y ya cuando la banda empezaba a moverse, ¡boom!, te lanzabas a hacer ya un demo mejor hecho, ¿no? Y claro, al momento que hicieron el demo, ya no lo grabaron así en el sótano, sino que fueron a un club de shows y hablaron con un amigo de ellas que trabajaba de sonidista, y durante la noche les dijo, a ver, conéctense como que fueran a dar un concierto aquí en el escenario del club y grabemos. Conectaron todo como que fuera un concierto y él les grabó desde la consola oficial. Entonces resultó muy 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 bien, un gran salto de calidad con respecto al primer demo, el que era de ensayo, ¿no? Claro, después llevaron a mezclar, masterizar, bueno, sobre todo masterizar porque ya estaba mezclado y que sea reproducido con buena calidad, ¿no? Con otra gente, pero la grabación ya estaba hecha. Y le digo, oye, ¿los dueños del club sabían que ustedes estaban grabando? Y dice, la verdad no estoy segura, pero deben haber sabido porque sí, algo pagábamos. Era barato, pero claro, algo pagábamos. Y terminamos grabando ahí, así que, claro, grababan cuando no había gente, durante la madrugada, antes de que vuelvan a abrir de día, ¿no? Y dice, con este demo de Immortal Realm, fue que consiguieron llamar la atención de la Relapse Records, sí, la conocida disquera Relapse Records, y justamente de eso vamos a hablar en esta parte, en esta pregunta. Alright, Terry. So,
yeah.
Now, we are entering this section of time in which you talk about the deal with Relapse, how they financed your EP, which is Mourning in the Winter Solstice.
Correct.
Yes, and
yeah.
I mean, catching the attention of Relapse, it doesn't happen every day. Okay. Do you remember anything about the process? Because I mean, of course, your band was excellent, but catching their attention is not something that happens to anybody. Just like that.
Okay, so we kind of knew them from going to shows, I guess, and also, probably, I think because of immolation, incantation, mortician, maybe there were maybe some other bands at the time also putting out some 7 inches that kind of either Relapse helped maybe distribute some of the other bands 7 inches, even though they didn't put them out. So anyway, all of our friends, we were just all friends, right? So that's kind of how that worked out. That's how we got approached. And yeah, I don't know. We ended up doing a deal, and you know, I whatever. I mean, it's a bigger company now, right? And but you know, there was a merchandise deal and a 7-inch deal, and instead of trying to figure out money and whatever, they just agreed to send us a percentage of the actual merchandise, you know, and the 7 inches for us to sell at our shows. And if people, you know, mailed us money, and we could, you know, send them out to everybody. So that's kind of like how we worked it out.
Okay, so
yeah.
So the deal was giving you a percentage of the material, a percentage of the merchandise material, a percentage of the release copies.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's the most fun thing to do, because you have certain control of your own work.
Yeah, yeah. But when things became digitized on CDs and stuff, so I was over in Sweden, and so the mini thing, you know, became obviously, I mean, that's how it came out, I guess, is on CD. I can't, you know, they didn't really do a 7-inch. Did we? I don't remember. Maybe we did, but whatever. Anyway, I go over to Sweden, and we have our own little, you know, tab with MYTHIC, and behind it is the CD. And I'm like, well, this is crazy. And I'm in a different country, and so I'm assuming then at that point in time, they're making way more than we think they are, you know? So, but again, that's just how the underground was, you know, and that's how everything else in the industry, I think, is, you know, they make, how are we supposed to go and, you know, audit them? You know what I mean? We're nobody, you know what I mean? We're like 20-something-year-old people. So no way of, you know, having any kind of lawyer behind us and contacting them, you know, whatever. And so, you know, whatever, everybody's got to do what they got to do to make money and to stay in business. So, you know, but the re-releases and things like that happen today, I don't know. I have no idea if any of that stuff's...
But when the re-releases took place, I assume they never approached you to say, hey, we did it, take something.
Yeah, no.
No, really?
No.
That's sad.
No.
All right.
No, I mean... But then again, also too, because, you know, MYTHIC broke up again, right? And Dana was doing her own, you know, other band thing. You know, I know she's put some stuff out through somehow other arrangements of other people without our knowledge, you know? So, you know, everybody's trying to sell their own stuff from back in the day. But, you know, when people claim like, oh, I have an official copy from back then, and meanwhile, like, no, some of it's not, you know, some of it's bootlegged, you know? So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty interesting to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sad. Well, a little bit sad, but anecdotic at the same time.
I mean, I look at it, and I really am kind of ignorant on the fact of, I don't know how much it would cost to promote and like produce something and ship it all over the place and whatever. So, you know, in one aspect, it's like, okay, fine. There's a lot of bootleg things going on. People are probably, you know, selling stuff on eBay and making money, but like, we're not, you know, it keeps some of the bands in the underground relevant, because you're not doing that promotion yourself. You're not taking that time to do that yourself.
Sure.
You know, I'm not saying that it's good. I'm just saying that, you know, it is what it is. And like, if you don't know about it, whatever, you know, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. If somebody's selling our band merchandise, I don't, you know, whatever.
So, well, let me see one thing. So, the mini, well, this bootleg anthology by MYTHIC, I assume it's part of the re-releases you're talking about. The re-releases you didn't get a part of.
Yeah, like I knew nothing about that.
The anthology release.
Right.
Ah,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I was going to ask you about that in the next question.
No, that was all Dana's doing.
Oh, Dana's doing. All right.
Yeah.
So let me see. I think I have it over here. You have. Okay, you have the demos and Mourning in the Winter Solstice, and that's pretty much it. And okay, and then the anthology thing we were talking. All right.
Yeah. So for a little bit of time, we had Scott take the demos and stuff and put it up on the internet for free.
Oh.
Somehow, I don't know what kind of website he used or whatever the heck, but it was up there for a little while because we were like, well, if you want to have it, then just have it. You know what I mean? We didn't want, who cares, So, but then after a while, I guess like whatever server he had and whatever couldn't support, whatever. But I think we did that for a little while. Yeah.
Okay. Really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Ok, aquí en esta parte nos llevamos algunas sorpresitas, porque le digo, ¿cómo fue todo esto del trato con Relapse para sacar el acetato, el 7 pulgadas, Mourning in the Winter Solstice, que tienen aquí en pantalla, Mourning in the Winter Solstice, lamento en el solsticio de invierno, no es mañana, que es morning con OR, sino OR, Mourning. Ese es el 7 pulgadas que salió en la Relapse Records. Y le digo a Terry, ok, entonces, ¿cómo ocurrió? Porque ella me decía, Relapse Records pagó para que grabaran profesionalmente en un lugar de Virginia Occidental, West Virginia. Le digo, ¿cómo ocurrió? Porque un trato con Relapse Records no ocurre todos los días. Así que Terry narra que, bueno, en realidad conocían a la gente de Relapse Records. Recordemos, esto es a inicios de los 90, años 92, 93. Y que eran amigos de la gente de Relapse gracias a los conciertos. Yendo a conciertos se hicieron amigos. Y claro, la Relapse Records andaba sacando 7 pulgadas de Immolation, Incantation, Mortician. Y claro, ya eran amigas con todo el mundo y decidieron apoyarles. Y les ofrecieron un trato. Les ofrecieron un trato. Que había un trato sobre el merchandising, la mercadería, todo lo que era camisetas, ropa, gorras. Y sobre el disco en sí, que no les iban a dar dinero, sino un porcentaje de la producción de la mercadería, lo cual era muy bueno porque podían mandar a mucha gente, ¿no? Entonces recibieron un porcentaje de las camisetas físicas, un porcentaje de los acetatos físicos, y fue súper chévere. Y Terry dice, lo que pasó después fue la cuestión un poco más complicada, porque cuando se digitalizó todo y se sacó en CD, sobre todo cuando se sacó el disco Anthology, que tiene las canciones de los demos y del acetato, y bueno, y cuando salió la versión en CD del Mourning, todo eso ocurrió cuando ella estaba en Suecia y que a ella nadie le informó nada y nunca le dieron copias de nada. Nunca recibió copias. Y por cierto, yo le pregunto, ¿eso tiene que ver con el Anthology? Y dice, sí tiene que ver, pero claro, lo del Anthology fue una cuestión más de Dana, de la guitarrista, que ella se puso a hacer otros arreglos por cuenta propia. Y la Relapse Records sacó unos bootlegs, asimismo, unas reediciones del material de Mythic sin permiso, o sea, sin darles nada a cambio. Entonces, lo que dice Terry es, mira, éramos éramos jóvenes, no teníamos un grupo de abogados atrás siguiendo los procesos ni nada. Al final, hay gente en el underground que está haciéndonos promoción gratis, que se toma la molestia de hacer que el nombre de la banda crezca. En fin, no es algo que me quite el sueño, dice Terri. Al final es promoción gratis. Y claro, ya con el pasar de los años, como cada quien hacía lo que quiera por su lado, al final el esposo de Terri, Scott, de quien ya vamos a hablar y que también estuvo invitado en este programa, a él se le ocurrió subir todo el material de MYTHIC gratis al internet. Entonces así fue como la banda ha ido promoviéndose más con el nombre que con una ganancia real. Y eso ha sido, o sea, no es que haya habido una repartición justa ni nada, pero dice, bueno, al final la banda es recordada y eso es lo que importa. Okay, Terri, let's talk about the live experiences with MYTHIC. I have a picture over here. Let me see if I can find it. Okay. It's a very funny picture taken from my live video that I found on Facebook from '92, I think. It's a live show by MYTHIC, and between the drums and the strings and the string players, there's a coffin.
A
casket. And yeah. How did you come up with this idea?
So that, and let me see if I can find the flyer. Oh my god. No, that's a flash. Well, maybe it was this one. All right. So I don't know if you can see this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me a second.
All right. So
MYTHIC.
I'm not sure if it was this. Yeah. So Embalmer.
Oh, Embalmer. Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah. So it was theirs. And they just kept the stuff. They just kept the stuff on the stage for us, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, that's how that worked out.
Okay. Oh, it was their stuff, but it looks so cool. It's like
it helped because there was only 3 of us.
Sure.
So it helped fill up the stage a little bit, you know. So yeah.
Okay. So, how would you describe from the musical point of view, how would you describe a live show by MYTHIC? Because I suppose, in the early 90s, technology for sound engineering was getting better. You were better musicians than at the beginning. I mean, I suppose I can only imagine feeling like smashed by a bulldozer when I think about a MYTHIC concert.
I don't know. I mean, I just was happy if I could hear, through the monitors and actually play the songs properly. So there was that, and I was, happy to get that done. But yeah, and I mean, obviously, there's people in the crowd. I think some people were cheering us on. Probably some people were booing us. I have no idea. But because I was, I'm behind the drum set, so I'm not hearing anything. I'm not seeing anything up front. Especially depending on the show and the lights and all of that too. That's in your face all the time, so it's hard to see for me. But yeah, I mean, I think you would kind of know a little bit because most of those shows were almost like mini fests. So you would hear the other bands playing to see if the levels sounded okay, in the audience, so that you knew when you go on stage you're going to be okay, Yeah. But I will say sometimes, if I had to play somebody else's drum set or something like that, I would bring maybe my own pedals, my own snare, my own seat, cymbals, but everything else, the setup was somebody else's kit. And then, trying to work that in. And I wasn't that great, to compromise, but so I tried. And I remember one show they kept going, can you hit a little harder? I really wasn't hitting very hard back then. So, yeah, I think they had to put the mics up really high for me. I don't know. You know.
And
yeah.
well,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, something that most people who are watching this maybe don't know is that I did an interview with you and Scott 9 years ago. And talking about music, kind of the same thing we're talking now. Yeah. And there, like 2 or 3 years ago, there was a Spaniard, a Spanish guy who released a video, and he quoted something from that interview. And he said that the interview was kind of flat because we were just talking about music. And he was kind of he wanted to add some mystery to it. And all right, I don't know. I don't even remember the guy's name. But he wanted to add some mystery. And one of the things that he added that we missed talking was that, in the interview they didn't talk about what happened at Milwaukee Metal Fest, and it was like, what the hell happened? I mean, I didn't fully get his point. I think that there was a discussion about something at Milwaukee Metal Fest, something like that.
Yeah. Okay, so I can clarify. So we got, because of the Relapse release, right? We were. They wanted us to play the Milwaukee Metal Fest, but I had quit before it. Like, me and Dana were not getting along. Things started getting really crazy. I mean, like, kind of more on the nasty side, I guess, you know? And again, we're young, very, immature and whatnot. But, so I just kind of had it. And, there was a whole big thing. Like, she didn't want me in the band, but I quit and whatever. So they ended up getting a drummer to fill in for me to be able to play that festival. And then I found out, literally just probably this year or last year, that because of that particular thing happening, and we weren't an all-female lineup band anymore, that the spot, instead of getting a better spot, it went way lower. So. Yeah, and because it wasn't the original, whatever. And so that's supposedly what I was told. I don't know if that's 100% true, but that's what I was told. And so, but things have a weird way of working out, And the drummer was from a band called Gehenna. I still, I see him around every once in a while. He's a really cool guy. And I'm happy that it was able to happen for them still, and I still went to the fest to enjoy all the bands and stuff. And that's really when me and Scott started really talking pretty good. So, there you go.
Okay.
There you go.
So it kind of worked out pretty well for you because you had time you had more time to be spent with Scott.
Yeah. Yeah, and really, and see all the other, see all the bands that played that day. I mean, the majority of them anyway,
Oh,
So, but yeah, so there was a lot of, I mean, when you quit a band, it's like getting divorced.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it becomes this like weird, nasty thing, and obviously it's an ego-based situation because everybody wants to be, I don't know.
Yeah.
Right in their head of doing it, whatever.
Don't worry.
So,
it's not necessary to go into detail. Everybody knows the kind of feeling it happens. I don't want any kind of drama here. No. I only wanted to have I only wanted to clarify the timeline of the band because I didn't remember what the guy said about the Milwaukee Metal Fest.
Right.
I've never cared about that show.
Yeah.
Right. So let me tell the people.
Okay.
Bueno, aquí estamos con el desarrollo de la banda MYTHIC, que sí hizo historia, ya empezó a ganar popularidad. Y yo le preguntaba a Terry, bueno, cómo era esto de... ¿Cómo era el feeling musical de tocar con MYTHIC en vivo? Porque yo personalmente lo único que puedo hacer es imaginarme el estar en un concierto y pensar que tal vez se sentía como un bulldozer que te aplastaba, así, ¿no? Y dice, bueno, la verdad, lo que le importaba a Terry era escuchar los monitores y que todo salga bien. Con lograr escuchar los monitores ya estaba. O sea, no es que había mucho lujo, no es que podía fijarse en muchos detalles, simplemente le importaba que las cosas se hagan bien. Podría haber gente animándoles o pifiándoles, no sabe. Ella veía muy poco de cada concierto porque estaba detrás de las baterías. Y yo le decía que aquí tengo una imagen de MYTHIC tocando en vivo con un ataúd en la mitad entre la batería y las chicas de las cuerdas. Digo, ¿cómo fue eso del ataúd? Y ahí nos mostraba el afiche, que era un concierto en el que la cabeza de cartel era la legendaria banda en Balmer, la banda de death metal en Balmer, y que en realidad el ataúd era de ellos. Y les dijeron, pero como ellos iban a tocar al final, les dijeron, vean chicas, toquen con el ataúd ahí, no le toquen y déjennos para el final. Pero para MYTHIC resultó súper bueno porque se veía súper bien, como eran solo 3. El ataúd lucía, entonces fue genial. Ahí pueden verlo en pantalla. Es una imagen que conseguí por un video en vivo en Facebook. Ahí está el nombre del usuario que lo subió, hay que darle crédito. Y sí, ese era ese concierto. Y bueno, para quienes para la mayoría de gente que está escuchando esto, hace 9 años, en el 2016, yo hice una entrevista simultánea con Terry, con su esposo Scott, ex baterista de Brutal Truth, en la que les preguntaba sobre música, ¿no? Y entonces ahí hablábamos de su trayectoria y todo. Y muchos años después, tal vez hace unos 2 o 3, resulta que yo estaba así vagando por el internet. Esa entrevista salió en la página Noisy de Colombia. Y bueno, años después yo estaba vagando por el internet y encontré un video de un youtuber de España, no me acuerdo el nombre, la verdad. Y bueno, ahorita ya no tiene importancia. Pero claro, quería hablar de la banda MYTHIC, de la historia de MYTHIC, y quería darle un aire como de misterio y toda la cuestión. Y citó la entrevista escrita que salió en Noisy, la que hice yo. Y decía que la entrevista era un poco plana, que solo habla de música, que no habla mucho de la parte humana, y que no hablamos muy claro de qué pasó en el Milwaukee Metal Fest, una cosa por el estilo. Ya. Y le digo, Terry, no me acuerdo ni qué dijo el chico, no me acuerdo el nombre del chico que publicó el video, pero algo dijo que faltó hablar del Milwaukee Metal Fest. ¿Qué pasó en ese Milwaukee Metal Fest? Dice, ok, vamos a contar cómo fueron las cosas. Resulta que la Relapse Record quería que MYTHIC vaya al Milwaukee Metal Fest, que siempre fue un festival muy importante. Y MYTHIC llamaba mucho la atención porque, recuerden, era una banda completamente conformada por chicas, como pueden ver en la foto: Mary, Dana y Terry. Una banda conformada por 3 chicas, y eso llamaba mucho la atención. Y era una banda de death metal, de doom death metal, muy bestia, muy pesada, y eso era raro, ¿no? Entonces era para el cartel de ese año, por el 93, ¿sí? MYTHIC estaba con un poco de tensiones internas, y justamente Terry se salió de la banda un poco antes del concierto. Y dice, sí, había un poco de tensión con Dana, éramos jóvenes, éramos inmaduras, había egos, o sea, lo típico, o sea, no es que había nada del otro mundo. No había ninguna gran controversia en la banda, como cualquiera podría creer. O sea, al contrario de lo que cualquiera podría creer. No había ningún drama, simplemente Terri se salió. Pero eso tuvo un impacto en la banda porque fue reemplazada por un baterista hombre. Y eso hizo que MYTHIC baje de popularidad en el cartel y les quitaron un poco de importancia en el concierto. Entonces lo que ocurrió ahí fue que ya las cosas no salieron tan chéveres y bueno, Terri recalca que esto es lo que se enteró años después. En ese momento ella no tenía idea de qué estaba pasando. Ella simplemente salió de la banda y ya. Y que todavía se lleva muy bien con el baterista que la reemplazó, que es baterista de la banda Gehenna. La primera con G, la segunda con H, Gehenna. Y que al final las cosas resultaron positivas, porque a veces las cosas se dan de forma curiosa. Porque para ese entonces ella ya estaba enamorada con Scott Lewis, nuestro amigo al que ya entrevistamos anteriormente en el canal, y que estaban ya de enamorados y pudieron ir juntos al concierto y disfrutar como público. Vieron la presentación de MYTHIC, que estuvo buena, pero dice, claro, siempre es un poco turro irse de una banda, porque o sea, irse de una banda es como divorciarte de tus amigos. Es como que siempre hay los egos y quién tuvo la razón, y la versión del uno, la versión del otro, y mejor no entrar en polémicas, no entrar en dramas y todo eso, porque al final simplemente era una banda más en el mundo que perdió un miembro, una integrante, y no fue la gran cosa, simplemente ya no estaba en la banda. Y claro, entonces hemos aclarado esto del misterio de lo que pasó en el Milwaukee Metal Fest. Ok. Alright. So, Terri, that is your story with MYTHIC summarized in a few lines. And then, is there anything else we are missing, or can we go straight out to Slag 9?
I don't think I have anything else to add to that.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, it's just because I can ask about the main points, but maybe I'm human. Maybe I miss something. Yeah, but
I don't know. I think you covered pretty much everything. Yeah.
All right.
That's all the recordings I've done.
All the recordings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And okay. Let's go to your next band. It was a short-lived band, Slag 9, in the mid-90s.
Yeah.
I think it was around 94, 95, something like that. I haven't been able to listen to it on the internet. So how would you describe the music of this band?
So, Robin really wanted to do something, and Mary wrote some songs. So we kind of did a 4-track recording demo for fun, just as buddies, you know what I mean? Wanting to put something else, like out. But we didn't put it out because it really wasn't recorded very well. So it never got released. So, yeah. Scott tried salvaging part of it, and it's really almost impossible, to do anything with. So, yeah, but Mary actually sang on it, and yeah, but it's not that good. But it was a fun project, It was a fun project. Yeah. It was an excuse to get everybody together and play, So that's kind of what happened.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
Well, let me say something. By that time, you were already experienced. You already left to band. You had already left to bands. You had some prominent debut releases, and I mean, you were not a newcomer. I suppose you were kind of good. Maybe the sound quality from the fourth track wasn't that great, but come on, I will not let you get away with it by saying that you sucked.
Okay. Well, if there's any way that we can actually get a digital copy, I'll send it to you. You know, right. you can check it out.
Yeah. It's like when I interviewed you two 9 years ago. Scott said, "Oh yeah, my first band sucked." Which band? Sanctus? And he said, "Yes." No, I've heard it, and it doesn't suck at all.
Yeah. I know.
It was a great band. So well, maybe the sound wasn't that great, and that was pretty much it. So what style did you play? Was it still death metal? Was it death and roll, rock stuff?
It was no, it was still more of like a death metal kind of vibe. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mary did not have the deep growling vocals, you know, and it was funny. I listened to a band the other day, and I was like, you know, that's kind of what she sounded like. Now I forget who the band was, but yeah, her vocals were more like screechy, yelly in a way, you know, and but it worked. Yeah, it worked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. So it was more like...
You know, it's funny what you do in your basement. You know what I mean? You just do this stuff in the basement. So, of course, the sound's not going to be great, you know?
Okay, so it was death metal-ish, but with the screamy vocals.
Yeah.
Okay, very interesting. I'm very curious about it. So, and, well, that thing took place in the mid-90s, a time when death metal was either reaching its peak, but also about to go down in popularity, in commercial popularity. Thrash metal was out of the picture. And how was it like? And what was it like to create some brutal heavy music with your friends in the mid-90s when it was like there was an uncertain future ahead for the extreme music?
Well, I don't know. I think we just didn't really care. We just wanted to play what we wanted to play. You know, we weren't going to do something that just because it wasn't, you know, oh, okay, this isn't popular anymore, let's do something different. It wasn't really what we, you know, meant to do. So, and I think because everything that we did in a way was so underground, and we liked that kind of vibe of it being more underground, it still happened. I mean, death metal bands still came out, you know, shows still happened. It just really wasn't maybe super popular as far as bigger fest or something like that, right? I mean, you know, you had a lot of the grunge stuff come out too, right? And yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so maybe it was just a cool thing to do your own thing with your friends without caring about whatever happens in the world. Right.
I mean, I think it's different. I've often wondered, like, if that's how fast things happened for us back then, if we had the internet as, you know, to help us promote us faster, I don't know how we would have been received. You know what I mean? Like how things would have changed. I don't know. I'm not sure. But I mean, you know, you look back and there's still bands. I mean, Immolation is still playing shows. They're still recording, you know, and things just got, if you stuck with it, and Napalm Death, I mean, my goodness gracious, they're gods, you know? So like, it's still there, you know?
Sure, it's still there.
Right?
But of course, those were established bands. But at least in my imagination, it wasn't probably so easy to start a new band from scratch after the other bands were established and you were starting again in the mid 90s. I mean, I should have asked, how was it like to start a new band in the mid 90s? To start out.
Yeah. Well, we were young. We were just having fun, so it was good.
Okay.
That's all I can say.
We are young.
Yeah.
We are free.
You know. You know, there was no really major responsibilities for us back then, right? So we were just doing our thing.
All right, great. Let me translate this part.
Yeah.
Okay. Aquí hablamos ya de la última banda que tuvo Terri, llamada Slag 9. Una banda en la que se juntó con su amiga Robin y con Mary Village, que aún estaba interesada por hacer música, pero ya no estaban con Dana. Entonces hicieron esta nueva banda alrededor de los años 94, 95. Y le preguntaba cómo fue este proceso, pasar de MYTHIC a Slag 9. Y dice, hicimos un demo en 4 pistas, en una 4-track, solo por divertirnos. La verdad no sonaba muy bien. Nunca fue publicado. El esposo de Terri, Scott, trató de rescatar la grabación para ver si se podía publicar de alguna forma, pero fue imposible, que no les convenció el sonido. Dice que probablemente era terrible, y digo, no te voy a dejar que te escapes con ese anuncio de sí, éramos terribles, porque hay muchos músicos que dicen, mi música de tal banda en tal tiempo era terrible, y uno escucha y dice, no era nada terrible, era bastante bueno. Entonces yo le digo a Terri, probablemente tu música sí era buena, pero no sonó bien la grabación, nada más. Y dice, sí, probablemente. Y cuando le preguntaba sobre el sonido de esa música, dice, tenía una vibra como de death metal, medio como death metalero, así, sin mucha velocidad ni nada, pero bastante pesado. Pero lo curioso es que Mary no hacía los gruñidos profundos, los típicos de death metal, sino que era como más chillona, como que gritaba más, chirriaba más la voz. Y hablando de esa época, 94, 95, yo le comentaba, sí, en ese momento había el pico de popularidad de las bandas establecidas del death metal. Pero, claro, el thrash estaba fuera del panorama. El death metal estaba ya llegando a su punto máximo de popularidad, pero a punto de decaer en popularidad. O sea, ¿qué se sentía tener una banda así súper pesada en esa época? Y claro, Terri dice que en realidad no les importaba, que simplemente era algo que tenían ganas de hacer, y que no les importaba estar haciendo algo que no sea súper popular ni nada, ¿no? Entonces ahí rectifiqué, le dije, bueno, tal vez debía haberte preguntado de otra forma, ¿qué tal era empezar una banda a mediados de los 90s? Porque, claro, como Terri decía que ya en Napalm Death ya se habían convertido en unos dioses del metal, estaban Incantation, Immolation, pero yo le decía, no, empezar una banda desde cero en ese entonces, cuando ya era difícil sobresalir, ¿cómo era? Y dice, bueno, simplemente queríamos divertirnos, pasar bien, y sentir esa vibra de estar entre amigos tocando. Y en el underground las cosas aún se daban, o sea, todavía podías tocar en shows, todavía podías divertirte con tus amigos. Sí, había la popularidad del grunge y todo eso, pero había espacios en los cuales desarrollarse, entonces no era ningún gran problema. Que claro, es una incógnita saber qué habría pasado si es que el internet existía a nivel masivo en ese entonces. el internet recién estaba en pañales, en manos de muy poca gente. Entonces, claro, ¿qué habría pasado? No, nadie sabe, no lo vamos a saber. Y si en algún momento, si en algún momento digitalizan esta grabación que hicieron, que bueno, que podría compartirnosla, pero hasta ahí fue que llegó la historia de la banda Slag 9, que no perduró mucho. Okay, Terry, is there any particular reason why you stopped playing with that band?
With Mythic or Slag or both?
Slag.
Or
Slag.
Oh, Slag 9. Yeah, Slag 9 was just a like a project. It wasn't anything supposed to be a band. Yeah.
Okay.
It was just a fun recording kind of thing from, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
yeah.
for fun.
Cuz Robin came up and we were all friends, so we just, that's how that worked out. Everybody just wanted to do something. Yeah.
All right, excellent.
Yeah.
And well, with the exception of the DERKETA reunion, you never came together with anybody else to form a band or get established in the metal scene again, right?
Right. Correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Many responsibilities, maybe.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, work and a house and so yeah, and
okay.
Scott and
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about making music again?
So no, not really. I mean, I formed a little. Well, I didn't form it. A friend of ours asked me if I would play drums because there was a like a fundraiser for feral cats and pit bulls and stuff like that, right? So we did a Cramps cover band. So a bunch of us friends, got together and did that, and that was a lot of fun. Again, I had to put a lot of effort into it. You know what I mean? Just to get to practice and stuff like that. But it turned out it was a good time. It would be really nice if you had extra time that you could just jam with friends for fun and not make it so. I always made it too serious. I really wanted to put the best thing out and, really kind of cross the T's and dot the I's when it came to everything as far as what the actual merchandise would look like, so it's just a lot of work, But if I would just be able to jam with somebody just for fun, that'd be okay. But there's a lot of time. There's not a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time. A lot of other things I've dedicated myself to, So.
All right.
Yeah.
So pretty comprehensive. It's pretty. I can understand your point. I get your point. Yeah, sometimes life is like that, but who knows? Maybe you can experiment something. You're a musician. You have instruments at home. You can probably do something.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and I think, obviously, it's a nice way of getting your anger out. Start playing something heavy.
Okay. So you argued with someone and you're drumming, take this and this and this and this and this.
Yeah. Yeah, sort of like instead of boxing, you can play drums. Yeah.
Okay, instead of boxing. Okay. Okay. Bueno, en esta parte acabamos ya la trayectoria musical en sí de Terry. Y le preguntaba, ¿qué pasó con Slag 9? Que ¿por qué no continuaron más? Y decía, es que solo fue un proyecto por diversión, para disfrutar. Yo le digo, ¿alguna razón en particular? Tal vez muchas responsabilidades o algo. Y dice, sí, el trabajo, la casa, la vida en general te absorbe y a veces no tienes tiempo. Que bueno, de manera informal solamente hubo una ocasión en la que una persona amiga le pidió que participe en una banda de covers para para generar fondos y ayudar a refugios de mascotas, gatos abandonados, perros abandonados, y que hacer esa banda de covers fue bastante chévere. Se divirtió bastante, sí le costó bastante esfuerzo, pero que pasaron un buen rato, simplemente por diversión. Y claro, yo le digo, ok, ¿piensas en algún momento volver a hacer música? Y dice, no sé, tal vez, pero si es que fuera para llamear, para improvisar, por divertirse, ok, pero no como antes, porque antes, cuando estaba en MYTHIC, DERKETA y todo eso, simplemente se tomaba las cosas demasiado en serio, y que era como que se fijaba mucho que el merchandising tiene que salir así, que el disco tiene que salir así, y que había detalles por los que discutía y ese tipo de cosas, y que más bien preferiría tocar, pero sin preocuparse del resultado, sin preocuparse así de ese tipo de cosas que te preocupas cuando eres más joven, ¿no? Y que también tocar la batería es una buena terapia para sacar las iras que tienes dentro. Dice que es como una forma de boxear, así, toma esto. Pero claro que quién sabe, quizás en algún momento al final tiene instrumentos en casa y podría pasar en algún momento. Okay, Terry, we are heading to the final part of the show.
Mm-hmm.
On the final part of the show, I always make some trivia questions, okay? One
Okay.
of them is related to something that you already explained to the audience. You are married with Scott Lewis, another drummer.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was part of the show last year. I feel pretty honored for having him on the playlist.
Aww.
And he's you and he have been very good friends of mine for a number of years. So maybe for the people who don't know, I am going to explain them that he was the original drummer in Brutal Truth that you met with when you were playing at MYTHIC, and he was playing at Brutal Truth. So the audience is probably gonna wonder, what is it like to be in a household where two drummers are married?
Oh, I don't know. It's not really noisy. We don't really play, we don't have, we used to have the drum set up, and it's not so much anymore, so, but
not
yeah,
so
it's
much?
no. He was in other bands, and he played out with them, so he wasn't practicing here at the house, and but we keep saying we're going to do something together, and it hasn't ever come to fruition yet. But, so there's an opportunity, but I don't know if it's all about the time. I think as I get older, it just goes too quick, So.
Okay. Well,
yeah.
Maybe the musical project is out of the question, but what is the vibe? I mean, because you probably share a musical taste in common. You probably you probably share tips. You probably talk about memories regarding drumming, regarding shows. So what is it like? I mean, beyond the playing thing, beyond the performance thing, what is it like to share your life with someone who did the same, who shares the same hobby?
Yeah. I don't know. It's always funny because, people will recognize him, and it's a big deal when we've gone to a party and somebody's like, oh my God, that's so that part's interesting. And I don't know. I mean, I think we're just such good friends, so it's, we share a lot of that. And the memories, for sure, that's fun to talk about. But we just have a lot in common. We have a lot of the same, influences and the same likes and stuff, like, especially with movies or directors of movies and stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. It's not that crazy brutal here.
It's not that.
We have 4 cats and a dog. It gets
okay. So the truth is not so brutal.
Right.
Okay.
Truth.
The truth is not so brutal to spend
there you go.
When it comes about spending your life with the guy from Rude Truth.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I wish I could elaborate more, but I'm it's kind of a basic household.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, ya entrando a la parte final del show, hablamos de la parte trivia y claro, ya habíamos dicho que Terry se casó con Scott Lewis, el baterista original de Brutal Truth, pero yo le preguntaba, ¿qué tal es vivir y compartir la vida con una persona que tiene el mismo hobby, los mismos intereses, los mismos gustos, que incluso tocan el mismo instrumento? Y dice, bueno, primero no tocamos, bueno, antes de continuar, aquí tenemos una foto de Terry con Scott. Terry, if you allow me to, I casually found out a picture of you with Scott on Facebook, just the 2 faces. If you let me share it.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, entonces aquí tenemos una foto de Scott y Terry juntos. Aquí se les puede ver, ustedes le reconocerán, él estuvo aquí en el programa el año pasado, dando una entrevista genial. Y claro, Terry dice, bueno, en realidad no tocamos mucho, tenemos perros, gatos. Scott no practica tanto, excepto por una temporada en la que sí tocó con algunos amigos en algunas bandas que no eran de metal hace unos años, pero no hay tanta práctica, o sea, no hacen tanta bulla, que generalmente siempre dicen, sí, está de hacer algo juntos, hay que hacer algo juntos, pero pasa el tiempo y no han hecho todavía un proyecto musical juntos, pero que en algún momento sería chévere hacerlo, ¿no? Y le digo, bueno, pero ¿cómo es el tema más allá de la performance, más allá del tocar música en sí? ¿Cómo es convivir con alguien que ha tocado música parecida a la tuya, ha estado en los mismos lugares que tú, ha tenido experiencias similares? Y dice, bueno, en realidad es bastante chistoso que cuando salen juntos hay gente que le reconoce y dice, ¡ah! Scott Lewis de Brutal Truth, qué bestia. Y que es chistoso ver la reacción de algunas personas, pero que siempre es con mucho cariño y con mucho respeto, lo cual es genial. Y así cuando están en alguna reunión social y le reconocen, y que son excelentes amigos entre sí, ella y él. Tienen, sí, claro, recuerdos juntos, mucho en común, y los mismos gustos por las películas. Entonces, que es bastante entretenido para Terry estar casada con Scott, ¿no? Okay, Terry, and the final trivia question.
Mm-hmm.
You were saying that you have cats and dogs, right?
Yeah.
You're an animal lover.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen some pictures of you hugging your dog, a gigantic dog. Yeah, mm-hmm. I think that many years ago you posted something and you were cheering up in front of the TV because of hockey and your dog was there.
Oh,
something like that.
Yeah,
it's like a song
mm-hmm.
for you. So
mm-hmm.
Can you elaborate a little bit about your love for animals?
Oh, anything with fur, anything, But it's unconditional love. right? They're the best. You come home, they don't care. Like, you know, if you have a bad day, it's the best thing to come home to have something like that. And I don't know. I just think it's really important to have pets in your life, you know, and to be able to take care of another sentient being is incredible, you know. And I mean, if I had more money and more space, I'd probably have more, you know. Yeah, I don't know. I can't imagine the house without having animals in it, you know.
Okay.
And and it's a good excuse to go out and take a walk, right? You have a dog to walk, you know,
right.
keeps you, you know, yeah. You get to meet your neighbors, you know, because you have pets. Everybody knows your pet name. Nobody knows your name, but everybody knows your pet name. Yeah. So it's yeah.
Everybody knows your pet name. Okay.
Yep.
And how many cats and how many dogs do you have?
Four cats. Four cats, and then the one dog. Yeah.
4 cats and the big dog.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I suppose that having a number of animals, each of them has a very peculiar personality, right?
Oh, they all have their personalities, but they all get along very well. They're very loving. Of course, they want attention, you know, but like there's never we've never had a cat that couldn't stand another cat. Like it just, you know, everybody would always get along somehow. It just worked out really well, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it.
Mm-hmm.
You love animals.
Cool.
I'm also an animal lover. Yeah, I've well, not now that I'm living on my own, but when I used to live with my family, with my parents, we always had cats. Always cats, and cats are the best. Also one dog in 1997, but yeah, animals in general are so lovely. Yeah. So congratulations, because I suppose you have a lot of fun with your animals.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Let me explain this part. Okay. Y ya, bueno, para cerrar, la última parte de las preguntas trivia es acerca de las mascotas, porque Terry y Scott son personas que aman a los animales. Y claro, le preguntaba cómo es esto de tener tantas mascotas. Y dice que sí, bueno, como muchos imaginarán, es genial. Las mascotas te muestran amor incondicional. Si has tenido un mal día en el trabajo, igual no pasa nada, llegas a la casa y te dan mucho cariño. Que es muy importante tener mascotas en la casa y cuidar a otro ser vivo, porque eso te llena mucho. Que si tuviera más dinero, sí, tendría más mascotas, más dinero, más tiempo. Pero bueno, tiene las que tiene, que ya son bastantes, 4 gatos y un perro. Y que no puede imaginar su vida sin esas mascotas. Es una buena excusa para salir a caminar, que es algo muy saludable. Te van conociendo tus vecinos. Todo el mundo sabe el nombre de tu mascota. A veces no saben ni el tuyo, pero ya el de tu mascota todo el mundo se sabe. Y que es una forma chévere de socializar con todo el mundo. Y le preguntaba, ok, ¿cómo es esto de tener 4 gatos y un perro? Me imagino que cada uno tiene una personalidad bastante peculiar. Y dice, sí, cada uno tiene su personalidad, pero siempre se han llevado súper bien. Siempre han sido muy cariñosos, muy amorosos, y nunca han tenido un gato que no se acomode a los demás. Siempre han tenido gatos amistosos, y bueno, hay que recordar, la personalidad de un animal siempre refleja la forma en la que se le ha criado. Entonces, si son gatos amigables, Scott y Terry tienen que ser personas muy amigables. Y sí, eso es todo cuanto podemos presentar sobre la vida artística, los gustos personales de Terri Lewis. que bueno, quienes tienen los discos de las bandas, los discos originales de la época le conocerían como Terri Hagen, pero ella está casada con Scott, entonces es Terri Lewis. Ella ha sido nuestra invitada por el día de hoy, ¿no? Y yo personalmente estoy muy contento porque siempre había querido tener entrevistas con ambos, con Scott y con Terri en el programa, y ahora ya el círculo está completo y ha sido una entrevista que he disfrutado mucho gracias a la gentileza de ella. Okay, Terri, we are about to end this interview.
Okay.
Let me express my gratitude because well, I was telling the audience I've always wanted to have both of you here on my show, Scott and you. It's like I can't help singing like Sinatra. Scott and Terri, Scott and Terri. You can't have one without the other.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, like in Star Wars, the circle is complete.
Awesome. No, I thank you so much, Pablo. I really do. I thank you so much. It's kind of weird after all this time and all these years. You know what I mean? Like I feel like insignificant, no big deal. You know, and it just that old school stuff just never leaves.
Never.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. It's always gonna chase you.
It totally does.
Yeah. But you know the thing I think that's a great thing about extreme music, because no matter how old it gets, the important thing is to keep it alive and to keep an historical record of it. Yeah. Because you know, in these times with the internet, instantaneous information, young people tend to forget things pretty easily. Yeah. So I think it's important to give value to the effort that you put in during analog times. Yeah.
And it's funny because I think you know, there's so many bands back then that I know that I didn't mention. Revenant, you know, I didn't mention Henry from Revenant. There's all these other bands in Pittsburgh, Chaotic Plague, and you know, there's just so much that was so rich back then, and we were a part of that, and it was really great. But yeah, I know I'm forgetting a lot of people.
Don't worry.
You know,
there's no need to become an encyclopedia.
Right? Yeah, I don't think I can handle that.
Nobody can.
Right.
I mean, I'm really, really happy and grateful for having you here. I mean, and to celebrate your music, to celebrate our friendship, and to celebrate that after many years you and Scott share a wonderful life together. That's great.
Yeah, it's special. Thank you. Yeah,
you're pretty special people. Thank you for being here. Okay, let me say goodbye to the people.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Bueno, estimado público, eso ha sido todo. Le he expresado mi gratitud a Terri porque estamos, o sea, esta entrevista es una celebración a la música que ha hecho, a la amistad que hemos tenido con Scott y ella, y también al hecho de que después de más de 30 años ella y Scott son personas muy especiales que siguen juntas y que son grandes amigos de este canal y de todos ustedes, porque este canal es de ustedes, este canal está hecho para la gente. Así que sin más que decir, me despido. Recuerden compartir con sus amigos, suscribirse, siempre compartir compartir de boca en boca es lo que mantiene con vida al underground. Y no agrego más palabras, me despido. Nuestra invitada fue Terri Lewis. Yo soy Pablo Barrera La Lama. Esto fue Bestial Blast Radio Show, el canal de los músicos más extremos. Ustedes ya saben. Bye bye, Terri.
Bye. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thanks to you.
Bye. Have a good night.
You too.